Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
That's right. That's who I am. I am the pimp hand of America because this country needs a slap. And one of the things that we're going to be doing really soon is I will be able to slap you each and every morning when you wake up and reach for the coffee pot because you'll be able to put the pimp hand blend because this country needs a smack.
Yep.
A slap. It's a slap, right? It's a slap. Not smack. And
Slap.
there's two S's. It's slap.
For a bold slap in the face.
For a bold slap in the face. Pimp hand. All right.
Pimp hand blend coffee.
We like doing business with students of the gun. That's right. There are a lot of like-minded individuals here and there and paying attention. If you're going to do business with someone, wouldn't you want to do business with someone that you know already is a like-minded individual? Well, that's what we do here at Student of the Gun. There are lots of our listeners, our students of the gun, who also have businesses. Yeah, they got lots of business. They got T-shirt businesses and coffee businesses. They got holster businesses. Some people even sell silencers online. Some of those people. Yeah. Don't they, Jared? You look puzzled when I said that.
I am puzzled.
I know you're puzzled.
Can you put me back together?
There you go, folks. This is what I deal with each and every day. You're welcome. Yeah, in case you didn't know, in case you're new, if you're brand new to Student of the Gun Radio, welcome. Thank you for taking the opportunity to join us today, for taking a break out of whatever it was that you happen to have been doing before you hit the play button and listened to us. Congratulations on your excellent decision-making skills. I am the host, Paul Markle, in case you didn't know. And the next voice you hear is going to be Jared Markle, who's going to introduce himself.
I'm Jared Markle, and I am the COO here at Student of the Gun. I also produce and co-host the radio show.
He's a producer.
Yeah, I do that.
Like Gene Wilder.
I do whatever needs to be done.
Cyril Mostel.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Kids don't know. Kids don't understand today, do they, Jared? They don't.
Nope.
All right. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about women and black rifles. Chicks and guns. You guys, you know you want to talk about that. I know you want to. Because that's all you do on Instagram is talk about chicks and guns and chicks, right? Well, sometimes you post pictures of your food, too. and if you're a CrossFit, the other cross. If you're a CrossFit person, that's CrossFit. It's not a cult. It's a way of life.
It's a cult.
It's not just a way of life. It's a cult. Sure. Are we on? Are we on in any CrossFit gyms? Can you hear us? If we're not on playing in a CrossFit gym, we should be. You should be listening to me while you're treadmilling or biking or whatever, doing whatever you do.
Killing the WOD.
I don't even know what that is.
Workout of the day.
Killing the... Oh, man, really?
Yeah, you got to kill the WOD.
Is that really a thing?
Kill the WOD is actually it's actually a name of a product that's made by a friend that I've actually never met in person. His name is Lance Manning, and he owns...
That's a thing?
Tap Rack Bang, yeah.
So WOD,
so
kill the WOD?
Yeah. You remember
Get out of town.
Do you remember the lady, I don't remember her name.
The lady.
That was at the dungeon when we were right outside of the Keesler Air Force Base.
There's a lot of ladies at the dungeon.
The one that did the CrossFit workout stuff. The redheaded chick she was jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Was that? No, it wasn't.
No,
Lisa.
it was
anyway,
yeah, that one.
She used to put on the board, she put WOD. And this was back before, like...
Oh, this was before the CrossFit
This was before
craze
CrossFit was, like,
this
popular.
Like 2007, 8.
Yeah. So, I don't know who she had been working out with or whatever. Maybe she came up with that. I don't know. But they used to say WOD on the board, and those workouts always sucked.
WOD.
Hated them.
Oh, did you hate them?
Kathy.
Kathy.
That's her name.
Did she hurt your widow feelings?
Yeah.
Aw.
She hurt my feels.
Are your feelings better now?
My feels are better.
Don't do that.
Yep.
Don't go all metro.
With a Z. Feels with a Z.
Stop it. I'm going to shut your microphone.
No, I yeah, good luck. You got it. Are you go gadget microphone push button?
Something about shut up. That's it. All right. Well, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a video series that I was recently made aware of. I've been in this business. Remember we talked about business a little bit ago. I've been in this business for a long time. I've been in this business of gun stuff, talking about guns, writing about guns, shooting guns, carrying guns, doing all that gun stuff for about going on 30 years or so. I've got a lot of friends in the industry, and one of my friends called me up recently, and he said, "Hey, Paul, we have this project," and we, meaning my client, Springfield Armory, has this project called Night of the Saint. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read you the PR from this, the press release, the introduction, so that you will get the full scope of what it is. With more independence comes greater degrees of personal protection. That's how Republican strategist Cherry Jacobus positioned the growth of the female firearms ownership in America in 2015, article for the Daily Beast. Okay, essentially, you're talking about women are buying guns. And after that, it says, according to Gallup, there I just galloped, at least 23% of women are gun owners. That's a 10% increase over the last 6 years. And why is that? Could be because we had a communist community organizer in the White House for 8 years who was set about destroying the nation. And so women are like, well, if this communist is going to destroy the nation and enable all of the thugs, I should probably get a gun. Yes. So Night of the Saint is a new reality competition docu-series. Ooh, it's a docu-series. It's not a documentary. It's not a television series. It's a docu-series. Is that a new word? Have you ever heard the word docu-series before, Jared? I'm going to call that one out. I'm going to call that's one of those like new age millennial words.
It's a documentary and
Is that
series.
like a dramedy? Yeah, it's like a dramedy. Anyway, that puts 6 women and their physical skills to the test. The series, developed by Springfield Armory, highlights the participants' personal stories from self-defense testimonials to their application of their own gun ownership. And this is the instructor is a former Navy SEAL, Eric Frohart. In the end, the three women compete in the ultimate self-defense scenario under the Wyoming sky. So here we have it. They picked out 6 women, and they brought them all together at a ranch, at a training facility in beautiful Wyoming. And they decided they were going to get it's a reality show where they do the confessionals, they do the one-on-one, tell us your name, why do you have a gun, why do you have a gun, and so on and so forth. And what my friend Steve did is he sent me an email with a series of links in it so that I could watch the trailer, I could watch the training clips, I could watch all the different things. And he asked me, he goes, would you do me a favor? Would you do me the courtesy of reviewing the video material and let me know what you think about it? And I said, yes, I will do that. And so I did. And what I'm doing right now, rather than review it privately, what I'm going to do is I'm going to review it publicly, and we're going to share it with you and the entire Student of the Gun listening audience. Now, Springfield Armory is not affiliated with Student of the Gun in any fashion. I've tested and evaluated. If you go back in the archives, you'll find that Paul Markle has tested and evaluated Springfield products over the years, and I haven't actually in a while. The last Springfield gun, you know what it was, Sharon? Tell me the last Springfield gun that I featured and talked about.
Oh,
it's a special one.
Of some sort.
No. It's a special one. It's stainless, and it has a really cool inscription on it.
I don't know.
The XDM.
Oh,
XDM with the Student of the Gun logo inscribed on the side of it.
I didn't know that was an XDM.
That was that's from season Springfield.
I've never
That's from season 1.
I've never got to shoot that. So
what?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Nope.
You're full of garbage.
Prove it.
We shot it at the indoor range over there.
We who?
And you and I. I know you were there.
No, you got to prove it.
All right, whatever. So
there's no video. It didn't exist.
I've got a 9mm XDM that was tricked out by an XD gunsmith, and it's kind of cool because it has the Student of the Gun logo engraved on the side of the slide. So that's cool. But anywho, I just wanted to be upfront and say that Springfield Armory is not sponsoring this. They're not giving us any money. It's not a paid commercial or anything. But we want to talk about the concept of chicks and guns, women and black rifles. And, according to Shannon and her sandwich makers, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
And Gabby Giffords and her cuckold husband, women should be more afraid of guns. They should embrace the state and it's the responsibility of the state to protect them. And they shouldn't even attempt to own guns because you're more likely to be killed by your own gun than you are an assailant. You ever seen that one? You're more likely to be killed by your own gun than you are an armed intruder. So, the gun is just going to get up in the middle of the night and kill me? And then they say, no, someone might break in, get your gun, and kill you with it. So, doesn't that make that person an armed intruder? I don't know. I'm not a member of the media, and I'm not a Democrat, so I can't think like that. But here's what I want Jared to do for you guys right now. So there's the setup. We've got Springfield Armory, and they put together this reality series, docu-series, with 6 women, and they're going to talk about where their backgrounds are, what their backgrounds are all about, shooting guns, and all that jazz. And I want you guys to hear their own voices. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Jared, I know trailers are supposed to have video, but you're just going to have to live with it. This is going to be the audio. It'll give you kind of a flavor of what we're going to be discussing.
I have no idea. It was one of those plan for the worst, hope for the best kind of things, right?
We weren't told very much, except that we were going to shoot.
I wasn't really given much information on it, not knowing how this competition is, what it's about.
I'm envisioning we're going to be going through boot camp or something of the sort.
I know that they were looking for someone with physical ability and some knowledge of firearms.
Where we're going to be pushed really hard and
We go into something not knowing, and it's just exciting.
Whatever it is, I'm excited to experience it.
6 athletic, adventurous women agreed to go to a mountain in Wyoming to train.
This is a perfect opportunity.
because I knew it was going to challenge me and make me grow as a person.
I think I was chosen because I'm not like a lot of other girls.
I think it would be awesome to show that moms can do these kinds of things.
3 weeks out of the office is a big hit to our business.
Okay, well, I'm scared, then it's probably the right thing for me.
I love to play video games. I have a full sleeve tattoo.
I'm very versatile. I'm not just someone who shoots guns.
There's fear, but the thing is, if there wasn't any fear, you wouldn't have adventure.
For me, it was about personal growth.
I want my kids to grow up seeing their mom being strong.
I think they see me as the more adventurous one.
I'm a nurse, you know? I have my job, I shoot when I can.
And I also bake cupcakes. So it's like that, and then wait, what?
In the end, they learned their biggest competition isn't the person to their left or right, but rather their biggest competitor is themselves. See Night of the Saint coming soon to defendyourlegacy.com.
Ooh. You know who was missing in that? Oh, I guess he has to be missing because he died. The trailer guy. In a World. Remember that guy? Don.
Yeah.
What was Don's last name? Don. In a world where everyone... What was his name? Don. We miss your voice, Don. We do. We miss your voice. We miss your trailer voice. I grew up with that trailer voice. So what do I think about the concept of women and guns? I think it's a great thing.
LaFontaine.
Don LaFontaine. Thank you very much. In a World. Yes. That was one of the most famous beginnings of all trailers. In a world where the end is near, where zombies have taken over, where it's frozen. Concept. Take 6 women. Now, here's the thing. It's a lot of people, the initial response would be, or the initial reaction would be to look at this Night of the Saint docuseries as it's all about 6 women and what they do and which woman wins the competition and who comes out on top and who triumphs and so forth. It's really not what it's all about at all. What it's all about is producing a piece of video material, not necessarily for you or I, but for those who are on the outside looking in a curious fashion, whether they're men or women, but mostly women, I guess, in the same. How many, right, admit it, if you're listening to me right now, how many women in your life shoot rifles and shoot them often? Now, a lot of you guys are like, yeah, of course, you don't know who you're talking to, Paul. I got that, but I also understand that my audience is vast and broad, and that there are a lot of broads in my audience. Rim shot. What this does, and what I've seen, is this gives video documentation, and it, as all reality series are supposed to do. Now, here the hint is this: most people understand that a reality show is only as real as they want it to be. You know, these probably aren't first cuts or first takes, but that's okay. The message is this, and the message with this series is to get it out. Now, obviously, Springfield wants you to buy their guns. I mean, that's like when Ford sponsors a documentary, they want you to buy Ford cars. Okay,
the documentary is based on their new rifle called the Saint.
Right. So, yeah, that's where the Saint name comes from.
I just got a call in, and I've got them on the other line. The Canadian government, and they want to rescind what you just said earlier because it's going to be misogynistic.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's going to offend too many people.
They want to take away what I said. They want to.
Yeah, that word is so hard for me
because it was misogynistic and promotes violence against women.
Yeah,
just like a license plate.
So, do you want me to accept the call or just?
No. You can tell them to take off.
Okay.
Tell those hosers to take off. My brothers and sisters. Now, the great thing about this is it exposes the audience to not only these 6 women, but to the various different types of the variety of training and education that's available to the gun owner. They do daytime shooting. They do shooting with pistols. They do shooting with rifles. They do your basic square range stuff. But then they move on. Vehicle bailouts. How to get out of a vehicle and use a gun. How to use a gun in conjunction with other people. Let's say there's 2 people that have guns, and we need to move from point A to point B. Do we both just stop shooting and run, or does one person shoot, the other person runs, and then so on and so forth? Do we leapfrog? And that's obviously important. Those are things that people hardly ever talk about because, let's face it, even men, women, regardless, most gun owners do this. They buy a gun, they buy some ammunition, they go to the range, and they hang a target out at 7 yards or 5 yards or whatever, and they shoot that target, and then they reel it back in or they go pick it up or whatever. And they're like, hey, pretty good, hey. And then the next time they go to the range, they do that same thing again. And then that becomes a habit, and that's what they do. They go to the range, they load up their gun, they put 2 hands on it, put a target out at 7 yards, shoot, then they're done. And they don't ever do anything else. And to them, firearms training is shooting 50 rounds flat-footed at a silhouette target at 7 yards. That's firearms training. And that right there is not firearms training. That's like a tiny aspect of firearms training. So in the video, the Night of the Saint, what they do is they actually run them through all kinds of different drills, and it makes them learn. It makes them do difficult things. It makes them do things that they may not have done before. It challenges them, which is what education and training is supposed to do. If you go to a training class and none of it is new to you and everything is easy, you really wasted your money. You should have gone to a more advanced or a different class because training is supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to place demands on you so that the instructors pull more out of you than you thought you ever could. You guys understand that, right? Jared, do you think they understand that? That's what training is? Training is a instructor forcing you to go farther and do more than you thought you ever could. Putting you in situations that you probably wouldn't put yourself into because you don't feel comfortable and you've never done that before, so you'll never do it on your own. But when you have a professional trainer like this former SEAL, he puts these women into a position that they probably, a shooting position they probably never would have done on their own. They probably would have never gone out and practiced these things on their own. And that's important, and it exposes the audience to that. Now, there's something else that he makes the women do, and it's very illustrative, and this is one of the clips that I want to share with you guys. And I'm going to have Jared, him pull it up, and I'm going to have you listen to it. This is a clip from the show, and it's about shooting in the dark. Yeah, that's crazy.
Regarding lights, in a home situation like break-ins, things like that, the light is a very, very effective tool because it can blind them momentarily. It can buy us time, right? Because they'll be like, oh, I can't see. What else do we want a light for?
To identify.
Do we just shoot shadows?
No.
What was rule number 4?
Know your target and what's beyond.
Right. And a shadow in your living room at 3 a.m. is not something you get to shoot at. And by the way, you need to train with the light to be able to use it.
The hardest thing today was we added a flashlight, which is something that I haven't used ever. And we go through the steps of coming up, taking the safety off, shooting, standing, safety back on, and putting your rifle back down.
How much harder is it to shoot with just a light? Now imagine if we had pistols with lights and night vision buttons and radios. We've been shooting pretty hard, and we just added a flashlight. And it's noticeably harder.
And just adding that one more step of just tapping that flashlight to turn it on as you come up, I kept forgetting to turn my safety back on.
Okay, do me a favor. Safe on, down.
Safe down, yeah.
You have not had a problem this whole time with shoot, bang, bang, safe, then down. Some of you that had no problem these last few days on your safety manipulation have started to I have to, now I have this extra step, right? It just shows, the respect that is due of this entire system.
So after about the first magazine of 20 rounds, I did end up getting it.
Nice.
That was all.
That was all?
That was the whole video, yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That was kind of like a... Yeah.
Cut. Hard cut. Yeah, I wanted you to share that with you guys as well. And how many people out there in the audience do that very thing that he just mentioned? He said that actually train or practice with a light on. Let's face it, most people, and honestly, gut check time, how many of you have a light on a handgun or a rifle or shotgun or whatever and actually go and shoot in the dark? You're like, well, I can't. I'm not allowed. Okay, well, I'm sorry that you can't and you're not allowed. But the fact is, you need to do more than just stick it on the gun and say, yeah, well, if I ever need it, it'll be there. Because that's another component. That's something else that you need to learn how to use. And it's not ridiculously hard. You can learn to use it, but learning to use it shouldn't be in the middle of a fight for your life. That's not when you're supposed to learn how to do stuff. It's not in the middle of fighting for your life. You want to learn it beforehand. Now, something that... I was talking to my friend Steve, the one who hipped me to this project and sent me the information. He sent me all the videos to watch. He said, well, he goes, take a look at the training. And he goes, if you want to, critique it, critique the training. And here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to critique the training because, well, first of all, I didn't see anything that really is terrible or out of place. Or everything's pretty, in the community, it's pretty standard. In the training community, it's pretty standard stuff. At least in my training community, it is. But it wouldn't even make any sense for me to critique it anyway, because that's not really so much what it's all about. As long as they're following the 4 universal safety rules, they're talking about muzzle awareness, they're talking about, operating the machine, putting the safety on when it needs to be on, taking it off when it needs to be taken off, keeping your finger straight, doing all that jazz. Fantastic. Rock on, brothers and sisters. And the fact of the matter is I'm sure that if you went to a school, A, and they taught you, the Sewell position, or they taught you the Weaver stance, or they taught you the this or the that, that's where a lot of people get tripped up, and where people will get all old-time religion-y on it. And you're like, well, when I went to this class in 1994, they taught me the Weaver position, and those girls, they're not standing in the Weaver position, therefore they're wrong. That kind of stuff. But from what I saw, it was really good. I'm actually very, very impressed by what I saw. Jared said it. He goes, man, this was edited really well.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who has edited television material.
For a couple years now.
Hundreds of hours of television material.
Yeah.
So it's put together very well. It's edited very well. It's shot very well. And I think you're going to enjoy it. I really do. Now, what did they said, now you can watch that by going to Springfield's website, but they have a dedicated website, and I want to give that to you guys. Jared, remind me, what did he say it was like?
Let me open it up real quick.
Yeah, it was the Springfield website, and you can go there, you just go to springfieldarmory.com, or is it .com, or I think it is, but
I don't know, but if you type it in, it'll pop up for you.
Okay, well, I'm trying not to type while I'm talking. Okay, it's Springfield-Armory. I knew it was something weird, but it doesn't matter. This is 2017. The dashes don't matter anymore. Really.
Dash don't be silent.
The dash don't be silent.
Okay,
that's right.
Here you go.
Defend your legacy.
Is that what it is? Here's the
See Night of the Saint, coming soon to defendyourlegacy.com.
Yep, defendyourlegacy.com.
Yeah, so that's the specific website that they have set up, not just to sell Springfield guns, but to promote the show itself. So there you go, cats and kittens. If you want to see six hot chicks with guns. Oh.
Hey, I think one of those.
What's that?
I recognize one of them, and I think it's our friend Rocky. Rocky's Guns.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think that
You recognize one of the girls?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just now recognize her too. Yeah. How did I? Thank you for that. Yes, you're right. I did recognize her there. So there you go. If you guys want to watch some ladies use some black rifles and do some sweating and training and all that fun stuff, and I see one of them is swinging a sledgehammer. I'm not going to critique the sledgehammer.
This website's pretty badass too.
So there you go. All right, it's Women and Guns, Black Rifles. All right, kids. If you got a rifle, you say you have a black rifle? What? You do. And you want to put an optic on it? You do. You want to feed it with magazines and ammunitions and all that kind of stuff? Guess where you can get it? Jared, where could they go to get an optic?
I'm going to go with brownells.com.
You're correct. And thank you for bringing that up for everybody. They can go to
Can I phone a friend next time?
You can, if you want to. You can do that. So if you have a gun, if you want a gun, if you're thinking about buying a gun, if you need something to go in, on, or around your gun, you can go to brownells.com. It's that easy. Century Arms is the sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. You know what we should do? If they were hip cats over there, the formula that these guys did, it's not. I'm not taking anything away from them, but what you could do is you could take that rifle out and you could put a C39 in there. Or you could anything.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Except C39s are heavy. The
C39
V2 is a machined receiver, and it has real wood on it. The C39 V2 rifle wants you to be strong. That's what it wants for you. And you know what else wants you to be strong? The C39 RPK with a 20-inch barrel. That gun wants you to be strong. You put a 75-round drum in it and hump it. It wants you to be strong. And that's a good thing. Isn't it, Jared? Jared says yes. He's nodding at the microphone. You can go to centuryarms.com and check those guys out. Now, life is too short to have an ugly gun. You know it. I know it. We all agree on it. Well, what are you doing about it? I guess that's my question to you. What are you doing about your ugly gun? That ugly gun isn't going to fix itself. That shotgun that your grandpa handed down to you that has like 1 square millimeter of bluing left on the barrel, it's not going to re-blue itself. But you could do it. You could if you can follow directions. And the first direction is go to lauerweaponry.com or go to Brownells and you pick up yourself some Duracoat. You can do that. You're allowed. I'll let you. Duracoat, because life is too short to have an ugly gun. And that's the end of that sentence. Now, speaking of wanting you to be strong. Now, the C39 RPK wants you to be strong. You know who else wants you to be strong? SWAT Fuel. Dr. Dan wants you to be strong. You know why? How we know that? How do we come to that conclusion? Because he took the time to come up with SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel 9mm fat burner, the Plus P energy formula, the 40 caliber multivitamins, and the 44 Magnum protein powder, the whey protein powder, the best, highest quality protein powder you're ever going to get your hands on. And if that matters to you, if buying quality matters to you, then go to SWATfuelstore.com. Use the promo code SOTG2015. You're going to save yourself some money. You're going to get a quality product. Is it any easier than that, Jared, or is that as easy as it gets?
No, that's as easy as it gets.
I'm pretty sure that's as easy as it gets. Water. Water's a good thing. You guys using that MyFitnessPal app? If you're not, you should be. If you're serious about it, it costs you nothing. Now, you can upgrade with a double D for for a double dose of pimping. But you can upgrade. Jared, riddle me this, Batman. What really does the upgrade do for you? Does it give you? It gives you some kind of extra features. Do you know what the extra features are? MyFitnessPal.
No, I don't have the pro version. So
you don't have the pro version? No. Oh, I'm sure somebody does. But if you're looking to be more fit in the year 2017, maybe a little stronger, maybe a little leaner, maybe have a sharper mind and a stronger body, well, SWAT Fuel can help you.
I think, actually, I know one of the pro version perks is you get to, it documents what foods are like highest in protein or highest in like protein, carbs, fat out of the food that you eat. And then that way you can make an easy decision rather than having to push like 3 different buttons to go figure it out.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. Frog Lube, green, minty fresh, bio-based firearms lubricant. You can put it on your Century rifle, or you can put it on the Saint. You can put it anywhere you want. I don't care. Keep it to yourself. But you can get Frog Lube products from Brownells, or you can get them from your local gun shop, or you get them from froglube.com. Just whatever you do, I don't care where you get it, just get it. And last but certainly not leastly in our hit parade of Student of the Gun favorites is Crossbreed holsters. I am wearing one right now at this very second in time. And in it, I have a C39 V2. I'm sorry, a C39, not a V2. That'd be kind of, if I holstered a V2, that would be something else. No, a TP9 SF Elite. The Elite, right there, comfortably in a holster. Somebody said to me the other day, it was on Facebook. It was one of our friends who got an Elite. And he said, now I have to get a good concealed carry holster for it. And I said, duh. Listen louder, freak. Did you not see that? Did you see that as well?
No.
It was one of our friends. They're like, oh, I got an Elite. Now I need to get a good holster for it.
Yep.
And, it's like, duh. Only the most comfortable concealed carry holster you're ever going to wear from Crossbreed. Do it. Move on with your life. It's easy. Speaking of moving on, listen to Alex. She's going to tell you what you need to do.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Meet Sid. Sid doesn't check for traffic updates. Sid does simplify suppressor ownership. Meet Sid, the new interactive kiosk that makes the fingerprinting and paperwork of silencer applications quick, easy, and pain-free. If you're ready to own a silencer, make time to meet Sid, your new buddy in the silencer business. Available at selected Powered by Silencer shop retailers.
Oh, even more evidence that the left wing is getting nervous about the Hearing Protection Act. They're really super nervous. They think that this may happen, and it's sent them into a full panic. The New York Times just did a slam piece on the NRA and the Hearing Protection Act. And it's all part of the scheme of the left to convince your ignorant and unenlightened friends, neighbors, and relatives that silencers are bad and dangerous, and government restrictions are good because they keep you safe. Yeah, exactly. But today, in our quiet time moment, and I like quiet time because it gives me an opportunity to talk about the books that I have been reading. I read a fair amount. I mean, I don't necessarily read every single day, but I do make the attempt to sit down and have some quiet time, at least every other day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I will sit down, I will light myself a quality hand-rolled cigar, and I will read. One of the books that I previously recommended, but I want to talk about it again today because there's a lot of life lessons. There's a lot of good lessons for you, the listener, in the book We Were Soldiers Once and Young. And it's by Lieutenant General Harold G. Moore, Hal Moore, and Joseph L. Galloway, Joe Galloway. Now, Hal Moore just left us. He finished his journey, and he's receiving his reward right now as we speak. But in this book, not only do you get tales of heroism from Americans just like you have tales of heroism and bravery and courage from average American citizens. But there are also several lessons that were learned. You have to learn, and not everybody made it back. A lot of people didn't make it back. And it would be a tremendous waste if we allowed those lessons to go unlearned. And that's part of the problem with being a human. It's part of the problem with our culture. It's part of the problem with the United States of America today, and not so much just the United States. We see that, in Europe and all free America. But we have this tendency not to learn from our mistakes, to just look at the mistake or the problem or the issue and say, well, yeah, that happened then. And yeah, that's true, but that was a one-time thing. It's not going to affect us anytime in the future. And one of the things that I took out of this book, I read it. It gives a tremendous amount of detail about the battles for LZ X-ray and LZ Albany, and what went on in 1965 in Vietnam and during these battles. And the old Army and the old U.S. military, essentially, you had troopers, you had your soldiers, you had Marines, whatever. Marines have corpsmen. Those are the medical guys. And soldiers, or the Army, has medics, right? And you have field surgeons and corpsmen's aides and medical assistants and all that jazz. When they deployed, when Hal Moore's battalion deployed, they were supposed to have, I believe in the book it said they were supposed to have 6 personnel assigned for the battalion medical, and they had 2. And then they had various medics spread out throughout the companies and the platoons. They were shorthanded across the board on medical personnel. All right. And many people found themselves improvising on the field. Their buddies were laying next to them, bleeding to death. And what were they doing, Jared? They were tearing off shirts. They were cutting up, belt. They were pulling off belts. They were, taking guys' shirt sleeves and knives and cutting them off and trying to make bandages out of T-shirts and make tourniquets out of bandoliers or out of cravats or what have you. They were improvising medical gear, and they were trying to just make it up as they went along, because in in that time frame, and even when I was in the infantry, we had medical training, but the medical training that I took when I was in the Marine Corps infantry was pretty bare bones. It was essentially the American Red Cross Family First Aid class with some green pressure dressing, and we had those pressure dressings that had the straps on them. They weren't really even pressure dressing; they were just field bandages that had the green straps on them. And then we had our slings / cravats. Then we were taught how to tie them off, in the gravest extreme, after all other means have failed, after the person has already been laying on the ground bleeding for 3 to 5 minutes. Then and only then will you attempt to find a stick so you can make a tourniquet. And nobody ever said, yeah, but if you waited that long to go look for a stick to make a tourniquet, and that guy actually had an arterial bleed, he's probably going to die. No one ever said that to us. But the truth of the matter is that was indeed the case. Because if you let an artery bleed unstopped, uncontrolled for 3 to 5 minutes, and then, and only then decide, man, I better find like a shirt sleeve or a cravat, and then I got to find a stick, and then that dude's going to die. And the lesson that we should have learned in Vietnam was that each and every soldier, every individual rifleman needed to be trained and equipped with the gear necessary to stopgap life-threatening wounds. So before the medic could get there or the corpsman could get there, you should already have a tourniquet or a pressure dressing or a chest seal or whatever on your buddy, because there may be a lot of people. And in the Ai Drang Valley during the Battle of LZ X-Ray, and yes, Mel Gibson did the movie We Were Soldiers. If you've not seen the movie We Were Soldiers, you are wrong like dick cancer, and you need to make yourself right and watch that movie. But what they found was there were people bleeding all over the place, and there was an ongoing gun battle. There was ongoing, fighting. And sometimes the corpsman and the medic, they couldn't get to him. The corpsman might be pinned down behind an anthill or in a ditch or something 50 yards away from 5 guys that are bleeding to death. And if he gets up to run towards you, he's going to get shot to death too. And there were several times when medics shielded their patients with their own bodies, and there were times when those guys gave their own lives shielding their patients. Unfortunately, and I saw this, we did not learn, and you say, how do you know you didn't learn, Paul? Well, I know we didn't learn because I was in the active duty Marine Corps, in the military, in the infantry after Vietnam. After these lessons supposedly should have been learned. What they should have gotten out of that, in addition to all the other things that they got out of it, was that, hey, each and every swinging dude needs to be taught. Every rifleman, every 19-year-old PFC, they all need to know how to use the gear. They need to be equipped with the gear, and they need to know how to use it so that they can keep people alive while they're waiting for the pros to show up, while they're waiting for the helicopters and the medevacs and the Kazovacs. But we didn't. What they did instead is they tried to forget the Vietnam War. They tried to pretend like it didn't happen. We tried to not talk about it. And rather than focusing on what we could have learned from it, they did the opposite. We just went back into the Cold War mentality. And it wasn't until the current global war on terror that we really got serious about ground fighters and infantry people again, and that we really got serious about teaching our guys how to keep their buddies alive. And you say, Paul, that's all fantastic, but what does it have to do with me? I'll tell you what it has to do with you. Because, just like, all right, when G.I. Joe and G.I. Jim are out in the jungle and Jim gets shot, who's the first person that's going to be able to do anything positive to keep Jim from dying? The guy standing next to him. If you are out there in your life with your friends and your family and someone gets hurt, who's going to be the first one that can do something positive? You. Yes, the pros are going to come eventually, but the fact of the matter is it's going to be you who is there when that person starts bleeding. And the question you need to answer for yourself is, just like our previous example, will you have the training and the tools to do something positive, or will you be like a scared infantryman in the jungle leaning over your bleeding friend, family member, or what have you, just screaming, medic, medic, hurry, medic? And that's what happened a lot. You put your hands on it and you're just screaming medic. Or will you be able to whip out something and do some good? It's up to you, brothers and sisters. The training's available. The gear's available. You just need to know whether or not you want to do it yourself. One of our students of the gun, we don't have all the specifics, but one of our grad program members, a dedicated student of the gun, just used his Pocket Lifesaver kit to patch somebody up, because guess what? He was there when the bleeding started. So
if you're down with that and you want to get your own kit, just go to pocketlifesaver.com. Obviously, gear is not the only thing that you need. You also need the training, like Dad said. But you can start by getting the gear. Pick up the Pocket Lifesaver. That way, if you're on scene, you can at least hand the kit to somebody else that has the knowledge.
Or you can just cut up shirts and look for sticks.
Yeah.
There's that. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.